Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. The purpose of today's video is twofold. I'm going to be showing you an incredibly powerful and awesome Knights Cavalry build, and also giving you some incredibly cool lore behind the Knights Cavalry, because there is actually very little out there. We'll review the build first and then jump into the lore in just a few minutes. You'll want to stick around for both parts of the video because both are incredibly interesting, and you do not want to miss all this awesome information I have in store for you. If you like the sound of that, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give the video a thumbs up, and without any more hesitation, let's jump straight into the build. The first thing I love about this build is its versatility. You don't need a shield, however, if your equip load allows, it makes you so damn tanky. I'll come onto the specifics and the talismans in just a minute, because the main focus of this build and the most important aspect is the Knight Rider's glaive with the Flaming Strike Ash of War. Just over the last few days in the forums, there's been noise of people using Flaming Strike with this glaive, so I thought I've got to try this out myself. I was not disappointed. You are an absolute powerhouse with this combo. For anyone unfamiliar with this particular Ash of War, you throw flames out in front of you in a wide frontward arc, and then you can follow up with a strong attack to perform a lunging sweeping strike, which will also coat your weapon in the fire. Also, this weapon skill and the fire damage itself scales with strength, so you can go for a heavy infusion and then a pure strength build, meaning you are wasting no stat points at all in any of them stupid magic stats. Also, doing it this way means its attacks deal pure physical damage, so you don't need to worry when coming up against any enemies with fire resistance, because your glaive now has S scaling in strength and does an absolutely insane amount of damage because you've been able to pretty much max out your strength stat. As you've been able to see here, well over 1,000 damage per swing without any kind of infusion. Also, the charged R2 attack is a heavy overhead swing as opposed to the horizontal slash of most other halberds. It's just a really cool feature that looks absolutely awesome that I wanted to share with you. And then, as you can see, I have combined this absolute powerhouse of a weapon and an Ash of War, along with the tankiness of a massive shield. As I have the stats to wield it, I'm using the fingerprint shield, because it seriously is absolutely god tier, that any great shield with 100% damage resist is going to serve you very, very well, and make you an absolute powerhouse, whilst still keeping that tanky survivability of a great shield user. Honestly, the damage output of this Ash of War, the damage output of the glaive itself because of the scaling, the fact you're so tanky with this hugely powerful armor set, along with a massive shield, you are an indestructible force to be reckoned with. So now we'll have a look at the stats, and we'll have a look more specifically at the talismans as well. There are definitely a few talismans you could use with this build. You could even switch up for something like the Mana Tower Shield or the Dragon Tower Shield, so that you don't need such as insanely high equip load. That will then allow us to take off the Great Jar's arsenal and either put on a talisman that's going to increase our resistances even further, or equip something like the Star Scourge Heirloom and give us even more damage. The talismans you can use are so versatile depending on how you're planning on using this build. You're so ridiculously tanky that you can even get away with Radagon's Saw Seal, and the increased damage that you take isn't going to be that much because you are such a tank. Other really viable options are increasing your guard counters with the Curved Sword Talisman, because you can guard counter a lot with this build, or even enhancing your attacks on horseback with the Lance Talisman for that true Knights Cavalry cosplay, or boosting your guarding ability with the Great Shield Talisman to make you even more tanky. There are so many talismans you can mix and match to make this build fit your playstyle. It's so versatile with the fire elemental damage and the damage output of the flaming strikes, and the tankiness of the armor set and a massive shield. So go wild and try a few different variations. I can promise you this build will not let you down. It feels so incredibly awesome to use. And as I'm talking and flicking through the talismans, I've just realized even the Shard of Alexander is a solid option to greatly increase the attack power of your flaming strike. In fact, I'm going to try it right now on this helpless enemy right here and do over 2,000 damage with it now. No wonder a lot of people are saying this is the new Rivers of Blood. Who wouldn't want the power and the damage output of the Rivers of Blood whilst having such a tanky, such a solid build. Now that I've finished reviewing and swooning over the build itself, let me really get you into the mindset and into the lore of the Knights Cavalry, and you will be even more excited to cosplay and roleplay as a Knights Cavalry for your next playthrough. It is possible to encounter a few of these knights before facing off against the first main boss, Margit. However, it is definitely the intended route to face Margit first, and that is made very clear by the voice lines that I will play you now once you have defeated him. As he says, "Cower in fear of the night. The hands of the fell omen shall brook thee no quarter." It is of course revealed to us later on in the game that Margit is actually a disguise of Morgoth, the demigod and the Omen King, and the 10 Knights Cavalry metaphorically represent the 10 fingers of the 2 hands of the fell omen. As we know from the Knights Cavalry armor set, they adorn themselves in black to better hide themselves in the shadows of the night, and they wander the dimly lit roads led by the fell omen to deliver death unto great warriors, knights and champions. Now that we have defeated Margit and he knows our true power, he sends his Knights Cavalry against us. Now, their only purpose is to hunt down and kill you, brave Tarnished. Also, as a side note, it has been confirmed that they are a reference to the Ring Wraiths from the Lord of the Rings, and I think this is very awesome. In fact, in the game's files, they are even referred to as the Nazgul. Another few facts I adore about the Knights Cavalry. Firstly, the funeral steeds that they ride are the most badass horses in the game, and I so wish there was a way to get one for yourself so we could truly complete the roleplay of a Knights Cavalry ourselves. And also, the fact that most Knights Cavalries will drop an Ash of War very unrelated to their aesthetic and to the weapons and abilities that they themselves actually utilize, because they will retain and absorb the abilities of the fallen champions and knights that they have slain on behalf of the Omen King. Also, it's one of the only armor sets in the game where you can alter both the helm and the armor to remove the plume from the helm and the cape and shawl from the armor. Now that we have finished swooning over these absolutely awesome deliverers of death, let us fully submerge ourselves in the mindset of the Knights Cavalry and hunt down and extinguish the flame of any who dared help the upstart Tarnished shall fall at the hands of the Knights Cavalry.
And now, atop our funeral steeds, let us deliver death unto all who would help the loathsome Tarnished. Let us execute all enemies of the Omen King, and slay all warriors who would dare stand against him, as we are the hands of the fell Omen, and under his command we shall deliver swift death to all who would dare oppose him. Even every last merchant and hermit shall feel the wrath of the Knights Cavalry. We will reclaim every last trinket, item and weapon that the Tarnished would dare use against us. And once all is done, and there is but one left, Carle shall fall to our blades, and let this be a warning to you, and all others who would dare stand against the Omen King. You will be next.